Don't you wanna know what I'm learning in school? Don't you wanna know what I'm learning in school? Don't you wanna know what I'm learning in school?
Hey everybody, this is Joey Seek with Superhouse, and today we're going to talk about Pacific Rim 2. Got a lot of bold statements, got some likes and dislikes. We got a quick little Wondercon discussion since that was this weekend. And I'm joined by Andrew.
Hello.
Matty Fitz.
What's up?
Steph.
Howdy.
Let's start off.
Okay, so the first thing in our episode this week is the Wondercon discussion. We wanted to kind of go over that real quick. I went to Wondercon both Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, I was joined by Ben Wan, of course, and also my lovely wife, Yuka. She actually ran the camera while Ben and I interviewed the kids, and we shot this little video interviewing the children, as it were. And basically, I'm going to say this in the video too, but just like Superhouse, there's a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos of a lot of 30-somethings talking about superheroes, So I just kind of wanted to bring it back to the original demographic. Let's talk to kids about it. What do kids think? A lot of people our age are it's almost like the hive mind mentality with the internet. Like everybody loves the Avengers, hates Justice League. What do the kids think about this? It's like that's part of the idea for the video. So I wanted to see if they had the same opinions that we do. You know what I'm saying? So, and on top of that, just the con was great. I'm going to be talking about another part of it later on in the podcast, but I'm going to keep that silent for now. But you guys saw the pictures. What did you guys think of it from just seeing it from the pictures?
I think it looks pretty good. That's awesome. I mean, I'd wanted to go, but yeah, I definitely want to go next year.
Look like a ton of fun.
See the video.
It's really a lot of fun. My first con that I went to was in 2012, and I don't think I went to a panel. I didn't even know what a panel was until like a year later, I think. I didn't know what I was doing. But now when I go to a convention, I am like so prepared, and I'm not even like making a schedule so much. I'm just like, I'm making a schedule around the panels I want to go to, but I'm like going to panels. I'm like, I'm going to be shooting from this time to this time, and between this panel and that panel, I'm going to eat this time. And I don't want to see that. Fuck that shit. I'm out. Like I know I'm such a veteran now at this shit that I can just like really handle it. I've just been to so many at this point.
Do you end up buying a lot of stuff?
No, I hardly ever buy anything.
Did I spend so much money?
It's a good question. It's a good question, but like I just feel like I get my comics from the local comic book shop. Some of them are cheap. I actually have bought a couple graphic novels, but here and there, and I have bought some shirts too, but I'd say most of the time I don't buy anything really because it's a trap, man. Joey, I know you're Funko Pop crazy, and well, all of you are, but it seems like Joey, you talk about it quite a bit, and
I have a few.
and it's fucking Funko Pop crazy at cons these days, man.
I could imagine
the exclusives are great.
It's insane the licensing they have. It's incredible. It's like everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get everything and like all the like minor characters and all that. That's what makes it a lot of fun. And yeah, you see Funko Pops everywhere at these cons. And WonderCon might be the second biggest in Southern California because it is the same exact company that runs San Diego Comic-Con.
Say what?
Yeah.
Con monopoly?
Well, they only do 2 a year. It's WonderCon and SDCC. So they might I think that's it. They really just do 2. And then there's several other cons like the Kamikaze, which is Stan Lee's Comic-Con. That is not the same company, but that's another big one in LA. And
cool.
Those are the top 3, I'd say. Yeah, Pasadena Convention Center actually catches a bunch of the cooler, smaller ones. But anyway, that's basically it. That's all I gotta say about that for now. So we wanted to head into the Pacific Rim 2 review. I hope this isn't a fucking bloodbath.
Welcome, SuperHousePodcast listeners, to our review of Pacific Rim Uprising. It's gonna be a knockdown, drag out sort of review. We might even break up over it. Here we go. All right, guys. I got a lineup for us this time. We're going to go Andrew, Steph, and Joey, and then I'm going to go last because I'm introducing it, giving you guys the questions. So we'll just go in that order unless we start yelling at each other. Then whoever can yell the loudest gets to say what they want.
Joey did not see this film.
Okay, Joey's not on. Joey's
Spoiling the ever living shit out of it, starting now.
That's great. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Joey, then you got to be the ref if it gets to that point.
We'll do.
Hey. Cut it out, boys. We're all friends here. Not anymore.
Do you have a gavel, Joey?
We need an impartial standing body to.
All right, you guys ready to get started?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so just to warn everyone who's listening, there's going to be spoilers. So don't get upset with us. If you really wanted to see it.
You've seen it by now.
Yeah, right?
Not minor spoilers, major spoilers.
Major. All right, here we go. All right, Andrew, you ready? Your general thoughts.
General thoughts. Not good. I'm a big fan of the first one. I'm going to keep it short for now. I didn't like it really that much.
Dang. All right, Stefan, it's your turn.
My general thoughts, in contrast to Andrew's, are I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, I think is the best way to say it. I really enjoyed what I saw and the experience I had, especially in contrast to Tomb Raider, which we've talked about before, which is kind of the other geeky movie that came out the week before. I thought it was a lot of fun, and where it had its faults, it didn't dwell on them very long. It just moved along with the things that worked, in my opinion.
Cool. I thought it was a fuck ton of fun. Sweet. I'm not going into it. All right. All right. Here we go. Are you ready, Andrew?
Oh, I got a prepared statement. Yeah.
Jesus. All right, Andrew, give us them dislikes. Let's do it.
All right. In order to prepare for this, I am actually going to cite Rolling Stone, RogerEbert.com, and Wired.com.
Boo.
Boo to all those. Fuck
All right.
Rolling Stone. Peter Travers is you're going with Peter Travers, who just says exciting.
He liked Legally Blonde too.
I agreed with these parts that I copied and pasted. And I do have my own opinions, of course, but I kind of wanted to do this for this review at least. Sure. All right, cue epic music. Here we go. First one from Rolling Stone. People go to the movies for all sorts of reasons, and nestled somewhere in the top 10, between gaining insight on the human condition and witnessing our collective hopes, dreams, and fears projected in front of our very eyes, is, of course, see a big-ass robot beat the shit out of a skyscraper-sized monster. Director Guillermo Del Toro understood this back in 2013 when he took several bags of studio loot and gave us Pacific Rim. It was mass entertainment, sure, the kind of popcorn movie that's filled with things blowed up real good, set pieces, and speeches about the apocalypse being canceled, but it was a weirdly personal film, a big-budget tribute to the J-pulp fetishes of the director's youth, and a Valentine to the corner of the geek universe leaned on Godzilla and Gundam. You didn't even need to think that it was among the Oscar winner's best idiosyncratic works. In parentheses, it is not. If you recognize that Stacker Pentecost was one of the 7 greatest screen names of all time, if you knew Manila from Your Mothra, if the word kaiju did not need to be explained to you, then this was your cult jam. Pacific Rim Uprising is not that movie. It's not much of any movie. It is a collection of noises and images and military jargon being oorah'd at the sternum-rattling volume and featherweight CGI destruction and what the fuck slow-mo sequences and the occasional feeling that you've been cheated. But let's not call that a movie. This is Transformers-level insanity. Inanity, actually. This is a blow to your head from the mallet. It will not make you feel like a 10-year-old, but it will make you feel 10 years older by the time you leave the theater. It is certainly not personal in any way, shape, or form. Just strictly chilly, corporate to a fault, and somehow both chintzy and wildly overblown. Del Toro didn't direct it, though he is one of the credited executive producers. He should still sue for damages.
Do not agree. People need to stop sucking Del Toro's dick as hard.
Agreed. Wait, is that anyway? Are the rest of your reviews going to be that long?
I was going to say that's only
Because I was like, dude, like they can just read it.
That's all right. I
I
want to
know,
hear
I-
them. I want to know
Well,
how
just
wrong
read
they
it.
all
I'm not
are.
going to do this all the time. I just wanted to do it for this one.
Sure.
I thought you were just picking points.
That's
No.
fine.
but-
It's fine. I like listening to him because what they're saying, totally don't agree with. That was Peter Travers, right?
I don't know.
Some fucking
Oh, you're
asshole,
not
right?
even.
I'm gonna put the link in the description, but
Yeah. Did you
That's
have
it.
more for this section? 'Cause
I do. But it was a little bit long. Yeah. But
What about
let me see what
personal
else?
opinion?
Personal opinion. Yeah, we can go to that. I liked Boyega. I like Kaylee Spaney.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
What did you
Dislikes. I just.
That's
Okay, let's start off with at least the cinematography. It's just so it's just super clean. I just don't like you're dealing with like a post-apocalyptic world, and it's just kind of shot a
Well,
bit
they're
too
over the
clean.
post-apocalyptic
Hold
world.
on,
They're moving on.
Let him say it. We'll get
And then
there.
also like all the character arcs are kind of just like glossed over. Like they have this whole thing about like trying to drift together, like Boyega and what's her name, Spaney, and it's just like they just gloss over it. Like there's like one scene where they seem to drift together well, and then they don't pay attention to it for a while, and then they finally do it again because we knew Eastwood was going to die or at least get injured, and then they don't really do much together except for like that last finishing move, and it just kind of felt like it was kind of like it cheated a bit in that way. So. And then like the actresses, like you can make the jump scenes are really stupid, and like all the
But
cadets,
you like Tomb Raider.
all the
She
cadets,
does it.
all the cadets are like it's like terrible. That's where the really bad acting is. Like all the cadets really can't act in this movie. It's I don't know, man. It was bad. Oh, and the worst was Tian Jing. God, she was so bad in every fucking scene, and she just has to show up in the end
She's
to
the
help
Shaw
out.
Corporation girl.
Yeah, dude, she was awful, man. And then like most of the kaiju are like the end fighting scene. I liked how kind of like manic it was, but like you got like over half the movie where they're not fighting kaiju, they're fighting kaiju powered robots, which was like okay,
Still
but
kaiju. They just have armor on now.
yeah,
I don't know why you're complaining.
I just don't know if I like that. So yeah. What else do I have written here? Learning to be a ranger again, going from being a party boy for so long. This arc was also kind of like really glossed over as well. And Scott Eastwood is just such a fucking putz in this movie.
I mean, he's supposed to be.
I couldn't take it, man. I give this movie 1 out of 5 Indeeds because it's just missing all of the heart and all of the soul that Guillermo Del Toro had for
There's
the
not
original.
that much heart and soul in fucking. Oh, dude.
Dude,
stop.
hold on,
Stop
Maddie.
right there, guys.
Huh?
The rating systems from now on go by
Indeeds, bro.
Continue.
We should each have our own. But yeah,
It was just like it was Transformers.
It's better than fucking Transformers, dude.
It was awful, man.
Better.
It was awful.
Transformers is a travesty because that was something you grew up with. And fucking Pacific Rim can be anything because we didn't grow up with it.
I don't know, man. It was. I mean, I'm done for now, but it was just bad. Who's
get
next?
Stefan,
get
it's
there.
your turn.
we'll get there. It's
Your
gonna be a-
dislike,
hold on.
Stefan.
I'm lighting another cigarette. Hold on.
Oh my god, here we go.
My only dislikes are that there's too many characters, especially in the cadet ranking. Hold on, there's too many characters within the cadets. I felt like, to me, overall, in terms of like acting and dialogue, I felt like this was a step above Power Rangers. I felt like it's kind of, in a lot of ways, like the chemistry of those characters, what they were attempting in Power Rangers, I felt like they achieved to a somewhat slighter, higher degree in this film, but I didn't hang on that for too long. My only other dislike was that, yeah, some of the stuff was a little glossed over and that it began with a voiceover narration.
I thought you were gonna hate this, Stefan, because as soon as it
Those
starts,
are
it's
my
like,
dislikes.
oh fuck.
I
Stefan's
know.
gonna
I
hate
have
this.
I have like 8 surefire signs that you're watching a bad movie, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of movies nowadays and TV shows are starting like that, and it has me worried for the fate of the human race as a whole. But it's fine. But overall, those are like my dislikes, and ordinarily I'm like kind of all over, like it wasn't deep enough or it didn't have enough story or character. And this, what it lacks in those type of things, I think it makes up for in other areas that are more pertinent to what it actually is. And I think it's recognizing what it is. And I like Pacific Rim, the first one. I have a good fondness for it, but I don't think, people talking about like all this heart. It's so easy to say that after dude just won Best Picture. Like you can fucking say,
But I feel like I would say that
Blade
anyway.
2 was fucking an unsung masterpiece, which it is actually.
Yeah.
But but basically, yeah, my only dislikes were that there were too many characters to bounce around from because they were moving so quickly that they glossed over the stuff that was useless, but at least they did that. At least they glossed over the shit that was useless and didn't hang on it, try and shoehorn it in to make for a more well-rounded movie. They're like, let's just go with what works. Anyway, those are my dislikes.
I don't know. I kind of agree with the dislikes. What Stefan was saying. Some script, some dialogue shit bugged me. I agree. There are too many characters. Some of the cadets, I was like, Jesus Christ, we can just do without them. Who gives a fuck? But at the same time, I didn't really care. I mean, I don't know, man. I went into this movie thinking, oh, I would have loved this. I went in thinking it was going to be a terrible movie. When I walked out, I was like, God, if I was fucking 12 years old, I would fucking eat this shit up. This is great. I've had so much fun watching this. If this was made in the 90s, we would consider this a cult fucking classic, dude. Because I'll tell you this about cult classics and some of our favorite movies on this podcast. They're not that great. And some of the actors are fucking terrible in them, but we love them.
Poor reviews of their contemporaries.
So I just kind of like, when I walked out of it, that was what I like. That's just how I felt about it. And the stuff that was bad, like, I think it's a mess of a film. It just is everywhere. And I was just like, I don't care, man. I love it. Who cares? It's got new monsters in it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess we could just tear it apart or whatever. I'm sure I could, but I had a good time.
Halfway through.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That stuff that I didn't like didn't bug me enough to take me out of the film, or just to sit there and like go, because I don't care that much about the Pacific Rim universe. Like I'll tear apart a fucking alien film because I love that, but Pacific Rim, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's like, I'm not a huge, like, I like giant, don't get me wrong, podcast listeners, I like giant robots and I like monsters, but I just don't care that much about Pacific Rim sometimes. So that's why I think I enjoyed it. I was just kind of like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. All right, what we got next, boy? Oh, the likes. Well, we can just skip Andrew since he hated everything.
He may have liked.
Did you like one thing?
End credit motion graphics.
I think
Those were terrible.
Boyega did give a great performance, actually.
Who did?
Boyega did. I think he did really carry the film as much as he could with what he was given. It's weird, most movies, like, the cast isn't the problem. It's usually everything else. Kaylee Spaney or whatever, she's good. I mean, of course, Bern Gorman, Gottlieb, and Charlie Day, great again. And Scrapper. Got to give it up to Scrapper. I like Scrapper. But I think it stops there.
Fair enough.
Stefan, what would you like?
Pretty much everything besides what I said in my dislikes. I love, if kind of in contrast to what Andrew was saying about it being so clean, like in the way that the first Pacific Rim was more like kind of a love letter to the older style kaiju films, like a little bit of the new, but a lot of the old, it seemed like. This one was, to me, was representative of the new in terms of like anime and that Japanophile kind of way. Like to me, it felt like just like a pretty decent anime film, and I like the bright daylight. I like the colors. I really liked the CG. I'm one of the guys that's really jumping on top of like, oh, that was terrible CG or whatever. But they were just like, at certain points, you're like, this is just a video game. But it's like, it's like a pretty good video game to me. Like when they had those close-ups of like the feet of the Jaegers and stuff, and like the parts, the inner working parts, and then like even Scrapper at the beginning, like there's a part of it, it's not like ILM quality CG, but it's good. And the artfulness of this film is not in the performances of the actors or the directing necessarily. It's found in those CG scenes. It's found in the action scenes. They were great action scenes, I thought. And I also liked the pacing of the film. I liked that, you know, where they had, this is what I was saying in my review on Instagram about like it going deep or not or whatever, like to reference Tomb Raider again, I really disliked the parts where they were trying to force down our throat, like certain relationships or certain themes or certain motivations through characters. Like if you can do that, if you have a well realized version of that in your script or how are you going to approach it and it is successful, that's like the gamble of filmmaking. But if you're just trying to get it in there because you think it's going to make your movie better, that shit shows more than just glossing over it, honestly. And where they were just like, you know, it's like, why are you in this fight? He's just like, oh, because I never got a chance to prove myself and I don't really care, but I actually do care, so I'm gonna fight and be a leader. And then the girl being like, well, my parents got killed by these fucking monsters and I'm a fucking genius mechanic somehow, that's why I want to fight. And I'm like, all right, that's good enough, move alongside. I really liked the structure of it. I really liked how there was, to me it felt like a video game at times, where they had the robot kaiju, or first they fight another Jaeger of some kind, which I thought was cool. Prior to that, there's the twist of Charlie Day's character coming into this like this wealth and this power because of the work he did in Pacific Rim 1. And he's talking with Gottlieb about like, oh, you'll get to meet Christine sometime, I'll bring you over or whatever. And you're just like, oh, where is he? And I didn't really think about that too much at the time when he said it, but then when he gets home and he's still fucking like drifting with this kaiju, like where there was too much of the like, can we drift, are we compatible, or you know, like all that shit with John Boyega and the girl. There was also that moment where fucking Charlie Day was having like orgiastic connection with this monster brain and shit, and that caught me out of nowhere. And I was like, that's fucking weird, you know. And it's coming out of the shadow of maybe where Del Toro is like, you know, he has this vision, he's so visionary or whatever. Motherfucker can draw and he gets good monsters made, I'll give him that, but his writing is lacking, is what I'm gonna say right now. Yes, said it.
You think the writing in this movie is better than?
I don't think that it's better, but I think where he would get hung up on certain things, they don't even fucking like, all right, we're not going to attempt to, to me, it didn't seem like they attempted to like even try and like compare themselves to like Del Toro's film. It's a whole different thing. It's the same thing, but it's a different thing. I like that it's a post-apocalyptic world, but I also like that it's sunny. It was, I mean, I guess to me it was like anime. It was like kind of like when the angels arise in Evangelion and stuff, and you have these much different landscapes. And it wasn't just at night with like all these obscured effects and like close-up shots of the monsters. Anyway, I'm trailing off.
Well, I just want to say real quick,
yeah,
that when I go to see a sequel of a movie, I want to see something different that I didn't see in the first film.
Yeah.
So it's all shot in the dark in the first one, basically.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do the exact opposite?
Yeah.
Put them fighting on the snow and in the ice. I've not seen that yet. Great, cool, something new. I don't want to watch Del Toro's movie again. I've already seen it. I want to see what they have to offer, because I guarantee you, if I walked in that movie and they were just fighting the same giant monsters again, and there was no tech involved or like the events that occur in the film, I'd have been like, God damn it, I've already seen this movie.
Yeah.
Like the best thing about it was that you had that, you're like, I never thought that like when the reveal happens that the Jaeger is controlled by like a fucking kaiju brain, I was like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, that was the first.
That's great.
That was great.
I was like, what the, because I was like, who's in that Jaeger? Because I thought they were going to pull it off, and maybe they were going to pull in Charlie Hunnam from the first one. I was like, what the fuck? He's a bad guy? But they didn't do that, which that
so
probably
glad.
would have been cool.
So glad they didn't bring him in.
But I like, I'm just saying,
right.
I just like that it was sunny. I didn't need it to be dark every time it's post-apocalyptic, because this is the events after the kaiju are gone. They stopped them. People died to stop them. They're trying to live their lives. Yeah. You know, they're trying to rebuild the world. So it's a brighter film. Yeah. But then some bullshit happens because, I mean, come on, that's Pacific Rim. Some bullshit's going to happen.
I felt like this one did a lot better. Well, not even better. I can't say better because I like Pacific Rim, the first one. It was really captivating to me, even though there's a lot more I disliked about that one than there is that I disliked about this one. But to finish off my likes, I liked the structure. I liked how it was first you fight a Jaeger, then you fight this like half Jaeger drone kaiju, and then you get into the kaiju. I only wish the kaiju were a little bit, there was maybe a couple more of them and more dispersing of the other robots, you know. But I also fucking loved all the different Jaegers and stuff, and I love how they give them names like Gypsy Danger and Phoenix this and Rogue Fury and shit like that. Like that's cool. It's like like baseball cards to me or something. You have all these like, I like that aspect of it. I hope if they'd make a third one, there's more of like a, you know, there's some company making like some profit off of gambling of like who's going to win and people betting and stuff, and like diving kind of a little bit more into the personality of each different Jaeger and what they represent to the people. I liked a lot about it. I had a lot of fun. To me, it was like action figures, and I didn't expect it, I guess, to go to certain places like what people are saying of like the heart that it doesn't have and the you know, the soul that it's lacking or whatever. But I felt like it was much different from a lot of films that I've seen recently that spend so much time trying to get you to care. And this one was just like, whether you care or not, there's some robots fighting, but I don't think that's the same thing as Transformers. I don't think you can compare the two, because in an art direction kind of way, all these machines and all these fight scenes and action scenes are 110 times better realized than anything in those Transformers movies. And I'll stop there because I know I'm going on.
Cool. All right. My likes for Pacific Rim. I like the new creature stuff. I think it's great. It's what I want to see when I go see a sequel. I want to see stuff I haven't seen before, and I didn't see that in the first one. I like that there weren't a lot of kaiju, like that only 3 came about, because you know what we watched in the last movie? A bunch of kaiju. That's fine. I love that Charlie Day's turn, he was the fucking villain because the precursors had taken over his mind because he was drifting with that fucking kaiju brain. Thought it was cool. I did not see it coming because I was like, it's kind of weird that Charlie Day is not acting like the character in the first film. And I was like, oh, he's got money now. He's better or whatever. But it's not that. It's actually that he's the fucking villain. And I thought I did not see that coming. And that's one of my like major likes. You know, I was just like, oh fuck, this is pretty fucking cool. You know, I thought it was just going to be him and the other dude just like helping out with, you know, whatever. And then I was like, wait, what? He works for this other company and blah, blah, blah. And then, I liked I liked that they fought a Jaeger. I thought that was fucking cool. I liked that it was a kaiju brain that was controlling it. And then when they released those other, the Sentry ones, and then they got taken over, thought that was dope. And I really liked, because when he's like, okay, you know, like when you're like, oh man, they're going to get the upper hand on those 3 kaiju. And I was like, oh wait, what about that big motherfucker? Where does he come from? Because I thought that's what they were going to go to Mount Fuji to do, was like resurrect this like giant kaiju or something they'd hidden there millions of years ago or whatever. And they're like, no, we're just going to blow up the fucking world. And I was like, holy fuck. All right, cool. And then when those little like bots come out and like fuse them together, I was like, this is fucking cool, man. Like, it's like, I don't know. When I watched it, I was like, it's like Transformers, man. Like taking Transformer and like, you know, like putting them together to make like taking the Destructicons and putting them together to make a bigger robot. And I was like, dude, this is fucking cool, man. I've not seen this. I haven't seen this. And I thought those ideas were great. And I think that's why I really liked it, because I didn't watch the first Pacific Rim movie. You know, like when I watch Alien because it's like a horror film with one alien. But then when you call a movie Aliens, you got to have multiple aliens in it. And, you know, and then at the end, you're like, well, okay, they have a lot of aliens. Well, like, what else they got? And they're like, oh, we just got this thing called an Alien Queen. You're like, what the fuck? Look at that cool ass thing. That's what I liked about this movie, because it's like Stefan was saying, it's like, like they kept building, and you're like, oh my God, are they going to fight kaiju in this? And at that point, I didn't care because I like the robot kaiju thing so much. And I was like, oh wait, but there's that big giant motherfucker. And I was like, when does he come in? I'm like, how does he kill? I don't know. I just thought it was cool because I was just trying to figure out like how we were getting some of the stuff in the trailer. Other stuff I liked. I thought John Boyega was great, and I think this movie shows what a really strong leading man can do. Because I mean, like I said, I like him and the girl, the Kaylee Spaney Amara character. I thought she was great. Honestly, when she was building that robot just on her own, and she was like, "That's my robot," blah blah blah, and I was like, man, this should have been Transformers. It should have been Shia LaBeouf with fucking Bumblebee, you know, and doing that like relationship thing, and like Shia LaBeouf's character should have been a fucking like mechanic or something. Yeah. And like Bumblebee's hurt and he fixes Bumblebee, and you're like, oh fuck, and then that's how the Transformers is a fucking travesty. And
this is a much better.
Both Pacific Rims are 10 times better than all the Transformers movies.
Agreed.
But what else? I liked everything. I mean, I don't know, man. I just thought it was so much fun. I was actually super surprised Andrew just hated it. I was like, really? Because there's some stuff Andrew's very passionate about. I'm like, dude, I don't know why you like that movie so much, but I guess that's why it's fun to talk about this shit.
Different
right?
strokes for different
I
folks.
appreciate it though. Gives me an opportunity to prove others wrong, and that's always a good thing.
Sure. What a great way to look at it.
I also wanted to comment real quick on something Andrew said about slow motion stuff. Because it makes me mad because people go, is there a bunch of slow motion in this movie? And I go, there's not a lot. There are some scenes. And people go, ugh. And I go, what the fuck, man? Slow motion is in a lot of fucking movies, dude. I don't know when people were just like, oh, I really see it now. And I was like, well, I mean, come on. Slow motion is going to happen in action movies, guys.
I was just reading that because that was part of the review.
No, but
I don't really care. I don't really care about that personally.
Someone brought it up, and I just hate when it's like, because when someone does something really well, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to, I'm going to take that and do it my own way. It's like, that's how art works, man. It's just, there's going to be slow motion in movies. It's going to happen. But I just wanted to comment on it because it's like, anytime anyone watches anything, it's always like, oh, does it have this in it? Did they do this? And it's like, it's a fucking action movie, dude. Of course they're going to do it. It's going to be cool. Just fucking watch it.
Honestly, I have a hard time catching some stuff in action scenes, so I'm one that kind of like appreciates slow motion quite a bit. Like Black Panther is one of the best movies we've seen this year. Black Panther is going to be like a top of 2018, right? But honestly, I was kind of lost in some of the action scenes. Like I was like, what? Huh? Hey, what?
That final action scene in Black Panther is probably my least favorite action scene.
Yeah, it's like, because I don't even know who's punching what. What move was that?
Much. It's slow-mo is one thing, but close-up and slow-mo is another. And they do a lot of like close-up odding, a lot of canted angles, as we learned in film school. A lot of canted CG.
All right. Yeah.
That's the name of my company, Canted CGI.
So we're gonna move on. We're gonna go back to Andrew so he can shit on my favorite movie of the year.
I'm ready.
So we're gonna do your favorite scene and your least favorite scene. Go.
Favorite scene doesn't exist. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on, dude.
Fair
Get
enough.
up for yourself.
God, I actually can't think of like a really good one. Like an outstanding scene.
That's fine. It was the part you hated the most. That's what I want to know.
Tianjing. God, get her out of there, man. God,
did you just dislike this actress, or did you?
Her performance is like she's weirdly cold and distant, but we're supposed to like her, and she's supposed to help us out. What is that all about?
Hey, actions speak louder than words.
She just seems like some like cold bitch for most of the movie, and then she's just like saves it. Like, dude, just get her out of here. Let's just have John Boyega.
You can have a character turn. Like she was trying to take over a company.
You don't have to.
She's the leader of a major corporation, man. You got to be ruthless. You can't just be like, oh, I'm happy all the time. I want to save the day.
But I really like Carrie-Anne Moss and Jessica Jones, and she's a fucking bitch too. But it's just a different thing.
Well, that's because Carrie-Anne Moss stays that way.
I just want to say
the entire series. So, I mean,
I did not like.
I thought her acting was poor. I didn't think she was the best actress, but I don't mind that she was like, oh shit, if I want my company to survive, I'm going to have to help save the world because their plan is to destroy it. So even if you are a bad guy, and you've seen this turn in movies before, where the same thing happens, where you have a fucking terrible villain, and then they have to come together to fucking save the world. I mean, it's in comic books, it's in fucking...
When Scrapper comes back into the picture, and yeah, it's Tianjin or whatever. I didn't get hung up on her performance too much, but I thought that was cool. And I'm like, all right, yeah, she's helping now. But the whole time, did you see fucking Charlie Day becoming the main villain of the entire movie? And they used him so well. Yeah, he's a great villain.
That's why it was my number one like.
The one thing that's the best about that villain is that he gets to be good and bad at the same time, because a part of him is like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just like lovable, fucking hilarious Charlie Day, but at the same time, I'm evil Charlie Day. And
I thought it was great. I thought
amazing, and I didn't see more of that.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, dude. I never thought that Charlie Day would become a villain of franchise.
I hope this is his fucking Jeffrey Toombs moment right now, man. I hope we get 9 of these fucking movies and Charlie Day's in every one of them.
I mean, he's at least gonna be in the third one because we get.
Oh fuck! If there's no third one, there's got to be a third one.
Dude, I hope there's a third one. I'd just like to see like come full circle, for better or worse. You know, just I don't know. I like to see
this is the best universe since what I thought Avatar was going to be.
Wow.
Well, I would much rather watch this movie than Avatar.
Yeah, I'm still down.
Way
Jason.
more fun.
I'm still down, brother.
I'm not.
Fucking, I'm not waiting for 5 years.
Yeah,
a new Tool album is going to come out before Avatar 2 comes out. Come on, fucking let it go.
You should have done Battle Angel. 2 Tool albums out before. Well, we're getting a Perfect Circle record and a Tool record.
All we're saying.
And we still haven't gotten Avatar 2.
Yeah. Come on. It's better be some.
And one of those bands broke up.
It's better be some non-glasses.
Stefan, you ready?
Yes.
I don't know. Andrew hated it, so he hates everything.
I don't really have a favorite scene. I'm done. So move on. We're ready.
I'm ready. Least favorite scene. Stefan, go.
Oh, man. My favorite scene in terms of actor's performance, I'll say, was when Boyega was going through the fridge getting ice cream and shit, and he was talking to Scott Eastwood. Scott Eastwood is all right. He's pushing to play Wolverine, but I think he'd make a better Cyclops. He's great. He's great, but that scene is written terribly. It's a terrible scene.
Yeah.
But both those guys are like, all right, we're here. We're trying. Like John Boyega, he's still, even though he's in a Star Wars movie, I think he's still trying to fucking find his footing in big Hollywood.
I think this character reminded me a lot of his Attack the Block character.
Well, I liked that it was a little bit more Moses than Finn, but I also liked that it was a little different than Moses.
Yeah,
it was still kind of hard, rough around the edges, but it was a little bit of a different take. And I feel like as an actor, John Boyega, he caught onto that little bit of what they gave him, of what was there, and he made it work. Even though a lot of his lines to me were so terrible, but I'm just like looking at him give them, and he's making some of them work. And when he's getting the ice cream and stuff, it's not about the lines. Like Scott Eastwood just kind of like reciting the things that he's memorized and doing it to the best of his ability. I like this guy so far. But John Boyega is just fucking spouting these nonsense kind of dialogue lines and making it work with the way that he's interacting with his props and shit. And that was really cool to me, the way he's like getting the beers and popping the tops and stuff, and just his blocking. Like, I don't know if that was Stephen S. DeKnight or whatever the guy who directed it, Stephen D. Knight, I'm not sure. But there was something special about that bit of the performance, and I really loved that scene. And it got a lot of expository bullshit out of the way, but he's just a joy to watch on screen. And John Boyega just needs to be in more movies as a leading guy. Like, he's fucking awesome. Least favorite scene, I would have to say, man, I had fun through the entire movie. I will tell you, I had so much fun through the entire movie. If I had to pick a least favorite, it would be the scene where the one girl, the main girl, gets into it with the Russian girl. Like, it was so soap opera-y and
God, that
cheesy.
Was awful. Yeah, that would be the second worst.
But
yeah,
I just really feel like it all worked. Like, the music was good in those parts because it kind of beefed up the cheesiness. To me, this movie felt like PG-13 Starship Troopers. I'll leave it at that for this selection because I don't have a least favorite scene. I know this movie might not be considered quote unquote good by a whole lot of people, you know, like we'll take Rotten Tomatoes into consideration here, but at the same time, I'm like, I fucking love this movie.
It's fucking crazy to me, man. It's unbelievable.
I like it more than the first one.
That's the most unbelievable thing. That's the most unbelievable thing.
Yeah,
Me
I don't know what
too.
it is. I knew from the trailer, when I first saw the first trailer, I was like, this is going to be good. All right. Good, interpreted in a personal level. This is going to be something I really like. And I knew from second one. Anyway.
All right, I don't know. I really like me and Stefan have said, we really like this movie. My favorite scene, one that stood out to me that I thought was really fun was just kind of the beginning when they start and they're looking for that piece from that Jaeger, and you meet the cloaked figure that stole it, and they do that little chase. And then leading up to the point where you meet Scrapper, and then that giant Jaeger that's like, stop, you can't build Jaegers, blah, blah, blah. And that whole little like just interaction between her and John Boyega, I really liked because it set those characters up as like, here you go, you know, here are your two characters. Hope you're ready for this movie. And I was like, all right. I mean, I thought the action scene was pretty fun. It wasn't like over the top or anything, but I liked it. And just like watching like Scrapper run and stuff, and just the way the Jaeger's looking, going for, and just comparing it to Transformers again, it's like Pacific Rim and 2 have their robots fucking down, dude. It doesn't have a bunch of fucking moving parts. You know, it looks like a robot. It doesn't have to be some weird. And
that Gundam reference, that shit was awesome.
Oh yeah, that Gundam reference was cool. I was like, oh shit, because I love when the fucking kaiju walks past it, and you're like, oh, you're gonna need something bigger than that. You know, I just thought that
was the heart that got my heart.
Oh my god.
But that scene, I really like that scene. Least favorite scene, I mean, I'm not saying this movie's perfect by any means. I enjoy it. Like I said, it's a fuck ton of fun. It's a mess, but there are some moments where some of the dialogue doesn't land that well, that like I was kind of like, all right, I'm still here. You can have that one. And then like the third time I was like, all right, you show me enough cool shit with your monsters and your robots that, all right, I'm in. But yeah, I guess there's the one cadet. I don't know. Like some of the cadet stuff, I was just like, fuck, dude.
Terrible.
Like I could get rid of like you said, you could have gotten rid of at least like a couple of those cadets for sure. But I did, I mean, but I felt like once they were in the Jaegers and doing the fights towards the end, I was like, all right, I'm kind of glad they're here. They're serving a purpose. You know, we did lose some of them, which I thought was good. Like not everyone survives, which is.
Sorry, can I interject just 1 second? That was one of my biggest gripes with the first one, is that you needed 2 pilots to pilot one Jaeger, and the whole drift thing to begin with, and that's why we have a problem in PR2.
I think this is
multiple
where,
characters.
I think this is the crux of it. You didn't like the heart of the first one.
I didn't like that they had to have 2 pilots.
Is like the big thing about it.
Because from a storytelling perspective, if you need 2 pilots, then you need 1 extra character across the board. So the more robots you add, you need an extra character.
But I think having an emotional link between 2 people actually brings a lot thematically to the whole thing.
I agree, but you could have done that through the different robots, and that would have boosted the personality of each robot in that traditional kaiju kind of way, Guillermo fucking Del Toro.
But I don't think that it's not set up from the beginning to have have personality in the way that the Transformers are supposed to have personality.
Whether that's heart or not. Sorry to interject again, Maddie.
It's good. Keep going.
All I want to say is that my biggest problem with the first one is that you needed 2 pilots to pilot 1 robot, and you wouldn't need that from a storytelling perspective.
But most of this movie, there are 2 pilots piloting the robots, except for Scrapper.
That's why there's a bloating of too many characters in PR.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
one of the
reason why you have so many of those characters, and you wouldn't need them if you didn't initially write in, we need 2 pilots per Jaeger. Because
it's just overkill.
It's an invention that's post fucking Evangelion Gundam anime. Like there's nothing that dictates in these types of fictional worlds. There's nothing that dictates that you would need two pilots other than Guillermo Del Toro wants to sweep in and be like, I want to bring people together like some fucking Mexican Cupid. Sorry,
But that, let me just tell you something. That is exactly the type of shit I want to see.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's exactly it. I want to see that emotional resonance
Yeah.
with the two characters. In the first one, you go back with Rinko Kikuchi's character and Idris Elba's character. They have like this kind of deep history together, and you
could still have that between characters,
but their arcs work really well. They play against each other really well. There's character, but it's about something. This movie wasn't about anything. It's just robots and giant aliens fighting. There's nothing else to it. It should have something else to it. It should have some heart behind it.
Respectfully disagree. I think it was
about
quite a bit.
Heart. I mean,
I believe it was about quite a bit. Anyway. Sorry, Maddie, finish your.
I don't even know. I agree with Stefan. I don't think. I think the two pilots thing was like, I rolled my eyes when I saw it.
Shot himself in the foot right away.
I also think the biggest problem with Pacific Rim is your leading man cannot lead the fucking movie.
Oh, in your face, Charlie Hunnam. Go back to comedy.
You know, when you have because Andrew, you haven't mentioned if you even like the main character. In the first movie, I mean, Idris Elba should have been the main fucking character of that movie because he's fucking commanding.
Pentecost for life.
Yeah, and Mako should have been another lead character instead of having some white, not a great actor. I know Joey loves Charlie Hunnam. I love him in Sons of Anarchy, but he's terrible in this fucking movie, and he doesn't lead it.
I just don't. I don't feel like anything else. He's surrounded by good. Even if he can't act that great, it's still. But to me, it's just handled well. You're telling me you care about his character, like what happens ultimately to him? Because I honestly didn't give a fuck, and he could have died.
I wish he would.
But I was really upset that Idris Elba died because he's can lead a fucking movie, dude. Honestly, I do remember Idris Elba and Rinko Kikuchi's stories more than his.
Yeah.
And this is your lead fucking dude.
But
this is the guy you're supposed to care about.
I still maintain that even with that major flaw, it's still got more to it than the sequel did.
Mm.
Oh man. Okay. I just don't
like for me, if every movie was Rocky, if every movie had the heart of Rocky, I don't think I would ever get tired. I need to have that in every single fucking movie. Yeah. And I think fuck character designs be damned, action scenes be damned. I don't give a one fuck. I just need that. I need to have the heart and soul behind some shit. And this was made by a corporation. It's a wedding band cover version of the original.
Like conspiracal thinking to me right there.
I watched the credits.
I disagree with it being a cover of the first movie. That's not.
I'm glad it deviated from the path.
Yeah, me too.
Started to go down. I love Pacific Rim, the first one, but I had way more problems with that one than I did this one. I think this one, it's unfair, I think, to say that this movie doesn't have any heart or soul. It is all over the place, and the story arcs are kind of in and out. But the heart is fucking Scrapper. The heart is old girl. What was her name?
Amara.
Yeah, the heart is Amara. And that scene when they're talking in the locker room, again, the writing is not great, but they're there together. And those two are really good actors. And, it's like that relationship, the bond that they've built in a short amount of time. I'll give it that. But they're both good enough actors to make that believable. And to me, that scene where she's washing out or whatever, and he's just like, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And has that moment with her. There's a lot of heart in this movie. And it's kind of everywhere, to be honest. Even when they're, the end scene was a little underwhelming where they have the rocket strapped to the hand and stuff, and that's how it's going to beat the monster. I give you that. But when they were doing it, when they got there, and even though it was kind of cheesy with the eject pod and everything, and calling back, I'm at this point, I'm kind of getting tired of the callback. We've had plenty of movies to do the callback. I'm ready for the move forward.
But they set this whole thing up about them supposed to be. He needs a drift partner and all this stuff, and then it
whose fault is that though?
They drift well. They drift well immediately, and I'm like, well, there goes that character arc. So what the hell is this movie about? and then they
Yeah.
finally get together. You know
Yeah.
that Scott Eastwood is going to die or something's going to happen to him from the get-go,
Mhm.
so it becomes way too predictable, way too
Yeah.
early.
I think it was great that he didn't die. Like that, where you're saying,
But
it
he was still
predictable,
taken out. He was still taken out though. Which was still predictable.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fucking action movie, dude.
But-
You go to every action movie you watch, you're like, there's nothing predictable in it. Like John Wick is not
It's
a predictable action
The
movie.
main point I
because
want
it
to say
fucking
is
is.
there's just
Yeah.
not much like the character stuff is just like
It's disjointed, but it's not.
trying
It's
to
unfair
introduce
to
this
say it's
whole.
not there.
If they shouldn't have even like talked about drifting at all, if they wanted to do this,
I
Just
totally agree with you there.
because
on that.
like because that is really where the crux of the character arc is supposed to be in this series, and they just
But we saw
just-
it in the
they
first
just don't-
fucking
they
movie,
don't-
dude.
they don't
That's
give
the
a fuck.
entire fucking first movie, dude.
they don't give a fuck about it, and it's just like it's like okay, they automatically drift really well together, but then that's it. I
They
don't know.
didn't though. There was the one scene where he was like, concentrate, stay with me, and she's having that whole thing with her father. And again,
Yeah, you
another
get
one
to
of the
have some backstories.
one of the Santa Cruz surefire signs that you're watching a terrible movie is fucking flashbacks. And I always appreciate when, yeah, okay, you couldn't work your way around your flashback, but you did it in kind of a way that makes it in the now. And they did that with this film. It was a flashback. You see that her parents died, expository scene, sure, but
And
then
the fucking
Boyega's
tear-
there with her, feeling it. He's
And the
there with her,
tear on
the
Boyega's
loss
face.
of her family, and it's like, how could you say there's not any heart, man? Like it's not very well placed. It's
There's
not
no
very
heart
well put
because
together.
Even
but
if there's
it's
like a
ton of it.
fraction, if there's like a fraction of it in one scene, it just like it kind of goes nowhere. It doesn't know what to do with it. It's like that's why I say it's kind of made like by a corporation. It's just they just it's like, are they writing humans? What is this? It was just so.
I think it was an
weird.
algorithm. I think an algorithm like put it together, just like movie, boom, blah 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 blah, and by some miraculous feat, the fucking AI is that advanced, and it's like this is what people are gonna want to see.
This is what they'll buy.
They don't want to see why people's lives are so fucked up. They want to see whose lives are fucked up and how they push past that with giant fucking robots.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't need heart in every fucking movie, man. It's not like I go through my every day or a week and I'm like, I had some profound thing that happened to me and I made this connection.
That's why I go. That's kind of like the main reason that I watch movies in general.
Because you don't have any love in your life? Damn.
Oh my God. All right, we may need a breather here. We're
Just kidding.
You know
just
why I
kidding.
never really
Ad
liked
hominem-
I'm gonna
ad
tell you
hominem
right
attack.
now.
No, it's. I mean, like I think a lot of people are like that, but but like for me, I mean, it's why I like Captain America a lot too. Like I like the heart behind them. I like Rocky a lot. Like anything like that, I'm going to show up every fucking time. I love that shit. But and then when that stuff is taken away, it's just like, okay, what am I watching? it's just like.
But
I need more than just the punching. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just something was
There's
really
so
off.
much more, but
I'm
there was
just
so
saying,
much
like,
more. It was
this is
yeah.
based off of like, it's Pacific Rim is an ode to a certain style of film, and all those films didn't have that much heart into them, dude. Like you watch Godzilla films, man. Sometimes you're like, what the fuck is happening? I came here for Godzilla and for him to fight some monsters. That's why I watch Godzilla.
I mean, that's what they're leading with. That's what you lead with. And
Yeah,
one of
I
my
mean, I'm
biggest
just-
gripes with action movies is getting hung up on themselves. Like, if you want to just be an action movie, do your action really well. Make that the film. Make that the art of it. Don't try and like go with your strengths. Don't fucking,
And that's why
don't Brian Singer.
I
that shit.
disagree with that.
I don't need a fucking heartfelt. I don't need to be that. I just don't need that every fucking movie, dude. I don't. I like all the stuff that you like, Andrew. I love Captain America because of that shit. But I'm not watching a Marvel movie when I watch Pacific Rim. I know what I'm going to see. Robots fighting giant monsters, and maybe there's some cool connections, and you meet some cool characters. But dude, I'll tell you this. I watched Predator for Predator. I could give a fuck who's in that movie as long as there's predators killing motherfuckers. And I learned a little bit more about the predator species. And that's what I liked about this movie, because you learn a little more about like what the Kajus can do, what robots can do. And sometimes
and
that's
that shit was sound. Like the precursors and the kaiju and their their kind of reasons why are very sound, and that's where I'll give credit to Del Toro. But more so this film because they elaborate on that.
Yeah, I thought it was what you do with a fucking sequel, dude. Show me. You want to see stuff you haven't seen before, man. Like, that's why I like this movie, because it showed me new creatures. Then it's like, oh, hey, yeah, here's some Kaiju. But, hey, check this out. We're going to fuse them fucking together. And I was like, holy fuck, that's a dope-ass idea. That creature looks amazing. Because I thought the 3 Kaiju that they're fighting didn't look that cool. I was like, really? It seems like your design, like the design team was
colors
like,
were different. I wish there was more color.
but when he turns into that big fucking massive one, I was like, this is a big motherfucker. This is pretty cool looking. And I don't have a problem with the end scene because every one of those Jaegers got taken out by it. The only way you're going to kill that motherfucker is with a force. And you know what the best for? Gravity, motherfucker. Get used to it. Here it comes. And I thought it was cool because they tried to kill it every other way with all their fighting tactics. The best thing was to do was to throw something, like fucking throw something big at it. And hopefully it works. It's the Hail Mary scene. It could or could not. Like, because when it gets up and starts roaring, I was like, holy fuck, dude, it's got to be hurt. And then I was like, I thought old girl was going to get in Scrapper and they were going to, like, Boyega would be passed out, girl would, and she'd wake up and she's like, we got to do this, Scrapper. And she'd, like, fight half of him or something. And I was like, oh, it's going to be dope because Scrapper's got that new welding tool. That's what I wanted. I wanted a Scrapper half kaiju, like he's still alive because he's got
your
all the
Bumblebee right there,
dude. I wanted that scene, dude. I wanted to like I wanted Scrapper to die, dude. I wanted like Scrapper just not to work in a cry scene where she's like, but Scrapper, we gotta save the world or something, you know. I don't know. I mean, that's what I've liked to seen, but I thought it was
Transformers cool. Done better.
Yeah, I mean,
not best, better.
Yeah, I will definitely watch. If we don't get it Pacific Rim 3, that's fine because I have my Transformers movies.
I'm gonna wear the Blu-ray disc in my pants for a week.
Oh my god!
I'm just anytime I come to LA to visit, I'm gonna go to Andrew's house and be like, Andrew, let's watch Pacific Rim Uprising. Come on.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm not torture him.
So
he's already starting to rethink the entire podcast at this point.
All right, so
Man of Steel and Pacific Rim.
How can I possibly trust either of them?
Man of Steel and Pacific Rim 1 were the only Blu-rays I bought that year. Like I loved the first one, man.
All right, fair enough. That's a letdown. That's fine. It's a disappointment. That's okay.
I went in with tapered expectations because
we're
using stuff, but I just didn't think it would be quite this bad.
Yeah, I think we're opposites on this one. Anyway,
I think this is one of the rare times. Like, I'm a huge Del Toro fan, and I like everything. I think, but Pacific Rim, man, I don't know. It just, I feel like he needed to focus a little more, like, because in Blade, he needed to do that. What he did in Blade 2, he just needed to cut some of the bullshit out. And I don't think you need two people to fucking pilot a fucking robot. Man, it's like, come on.
So wait, let me ask this question then. Would you want a drift between the robot and the human?
That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, yeah,
because artificial intelligence there.
That's in Titanfall 2, and it fucking works great, dude.
You don't got to shoot coverage for fucking.
So it's just two people. Okay, all right, whatever.
I mean, that would be more like. I mean, the thing is like if he did that, because I mean, I don't know. That's fucking good. Like in Titanfall 2, it's great because did you guys finish that game? The campaign?
No. Yeah, it was short as fuck.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean, but I thought it was great, man. When that robot, like when your robot dies at the end and he gets the spark out of him, which it's still him, like that shit's dope, man. That's like
that was a really good game.
It was. I don't care how fucking short it is because you know what? Sometimes short and sweet is better than fucking long and not.
And guess what?
I know.
Uprising. What was it? Hour 35 something.
I think you can buy it.
Nice, sweet and short. I had a whole day after I watched that movie. It was great.
Yeah, I know, dude. All right, so
we ready to end this bloodbath here?
Yeah, we're gonna do one last one.
All right.
This is your fave robot from anything. It can be from Pacific Rim.
Really? From anything? Wow.
Yeah, I think this is anything. Yeah, any robot from any movie from childhood.
Oh man,
hit me. What you got?
Actually, can I go last? Let me think about this. I wasn't ready for this.
Come on, dude.
I didn't prepare.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right, go, Stefan.
Come on, you fucking asshole. You don't spend time thinking about robots like us. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You don't have a top 5 ready to go at any point.
No. I just wanted to shit on these robots. Now I got to talk about some good ones. Fuck, man. Give me a fucking break.
In this movie, my favorite robot was the Phoenix, whatever, had the 2 swords and it was doing all the flippies over the monsters. I was like, yes, more of this. Like, I'm sick of robots being like, fucking, they're playing around in our physics and shit. And like the leg has to move super slow and you have to see it kick by the fucking train and all the people. Ooh. Like, nah, man, let me see some robots flipping around and shit. Ultraman, Evangelion, give it to me.
I don't think Ultraman's a robot. Keep going.
No, right. He's not. But like that whole kaiju thing where they're like fucking I don't know what I'm trying to say, but let's say more nimbly acrobatic robot, like bring me to the level of fantasy that you're trying to dwell in, as opposed to, again, referencing Tomb Raider. There is a little more they could have done with some of the fantastical elements of that movie, but they didn't fucking do it and it sucked. Sorry. In this one, they're just like, yeah, this robot does flips and it's ninja shit and that's cool. And I don't know. It was good for me. What were we talking about again?
Favorite robot.
Favorite robots. Jesus.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. My favorite
you need
robot,
to start drinking more, dude. Jesus. You lightweight.
I think I need to stop. But my favorite robot in this movie was the orange one with the 2 swords. I'll just say that. Phoenix.
Saber Athena.
Is that what it was? Saber Athena? That shit was awesome.
Athena. Yeah,
they were all great. The fucking mace one with the spirally mace and like they were all great. I loved all the robots in this, but that was my favorite. But my favorite robot in all of movies is Johnny Five Stay Alive, Short Circuit. That's
wow,
huge.
All right.
Those aren't even the best movies, and they're super misogynistic and like super 80s and shit. But I like that robot.
Andrew, you ready?
Data from Star Trek: Next Generation.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah. Just a big Next Generation fan, and I like his character arcs.
Dang, that
That's
like
very
buzzed my
nice.
ear a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of turned on right now. Favorite robot for me, I'm gonna have to go with the Terminator, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's a
the
great
design,
one.
Scared the shit. Like it was terrifying as a kid, but in like a cool way. Just because you see Schwarzenegger, he has to like pull out his eyeball in that scene, and there's a fucking it's so good. I mean, I like that. I like the robots in the Pacific Rim movies, but they're not some of my favorite designs. I actually think the Gypsy Avenger design in this film looks way cooler than Gypsy, whatever the fuck it was called in the first one.
Gypsy Danger.
Yeah. I do like what Stefan was saying with some of the sleek designs and shit like that. Data is also dope. I'm not a huge Short Circuit fan. Sorry.
That's all right. I just think the robot's cool. He was like, what do I do? And what's going on? And I love that.
Also, Iron Giant, just a little shout out because that robot's fucking dope. And that movie makes me cry. And I can't wait to see Ready Player One because he's in it.
Yeah.
Cool.
True.
All right. So
I like that. I like that discussion.
Yeah.
So we're ending it. So Andrew, give me them final thoughts. Have anything that Steph and I said, would it make you watch this film again?
Would
you
you
recommend
recommend
it?
No.
No,
You wouldn't in say 5 years, you would be like, you know what, maybe I'll give Pacific Rim Uprising another chance.
I mean, I don't see it right now. I mean, I would definitely watch the first one again. I just don't think there was anything there for me. Like, I don't know. It's just a huge letdown. And I mean, closing remarks wise, yeah, 1.1 out of 5 indeeds for this movie. And I mean, because I like the first one so much, I probably would see the third movie just to see what the fuck is going to happen, but I don't think I'll see number 2 again. So I think I'll end it with that.
Stefan?
Sure. Wait, what were we talking about? Closing remarks?
Yes.
I think that where this film is lacking for a lot of those things that people tend to like boost and appreciate in filmmaking as a whole. Wait, let me start over.
Jesus.
I think where this film was lacking, it made up for by finding its own identity and doing its own thing and not trying to be something more profound or more. God damn it. Let me do it one more time.
Jesus.
How much you gonna make me edit, bro?
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I think that where this film was lacking, it made up for in other parts that were truer to basically what was in the trailers, basically what was presented right at the beginning. I didn't feel like you were shown one thing and you're going down another road. I felt like it stayed on track for the things that were important to itself, i.e. the robots and the monsters, and it had little treats of good performances here and there, and little treats of cool characters here and there. I really like the first Pacific Rim film, but I probably would watch this one over that one any point in time. And I highly recommend it, but I understand why, as per what Andrew is saying. I totally get what he's saying. I understand why you wouldn't like it or think that it's empty, but fucking hey, man, it filled that hole for me.
Wow. All right.
I mean, Andrew didn't change my opinion at all. Still think this movie is so much fun. I would say if you want something that's just you can just go in and kind of enjoy, that's not going to be a fucking superhero movie. Yeah, go see Pacific Rim Uprising. If you don't want to spend the money on it, like if you're one of those people that's like, oh, it's $15 to $20 to see a fucking movie. Well, wait, but you need to see it. You gotta get that Blu-ray, watch it, have a couple beers, you'll have a good time. I think that's it.
All right, so the thing that I was hinting at earlier on in the episode about WonderCon was this. I saw Batman Ninja at WonderCon. They had, I think, 2 screenings, and I think I saw the second one. Almost didn't go. And then Ben Wan was with us, our senior Batman correspondent, and he was like, hey, I'm in a Batman Ninja screening. There's seats. And I was like, when does it end? Because I had to get back for this podcast, and I know I was going to see it eventually anyway. And he was like, 3:15. And I was like, wow, that gives us enough time. It's actually not super long. So went to go see it. Man, it's really fucking good, dude. I'd say it's better than here's a bold statement. It's better than Dark Knight Rises. I don't know how bold that is.
Compare the two, man. One's animated.
They're wildly different. And Ben, I think he liked it a little less than me. He might need some time to unpack it, but he went in thinking that the movie was going to be about Batman having to deal with survival with less technology.
Yeah.
In ancient Japan. It's really not that. It's like, this is me liking something that's not that deep, okay? All right?
Oh,
okay.
So
I think we're getting hung up on that word to begin with. I think deep.
So Andrew can enjoy mindless fun.
It's not totally mindless though, but it leans really into a lot of silliness. There's a lot of humor to it. It's how like insane it is. Like the movie knows how insane it is. Like if you've seen the trailer, you get an idea of how crazy the movie is. And like there's a sumo Bane in it. And the main plot of it is the what do you call it? Like Joker and Poison Ivy and Deathstroke and the Penguin have all become daimyo in Japan. They've gotten there earlier via time travel from Gorilla Grodd. Gorilla Grodd created the time travel machine. They've been there for a while and they've taken over Japan as daimyo. And then Batman goes back in time. I actually missed the first 5 or 10 minutes of it.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to. We rushed down to it, but anyway, I'll see it later. But yeah, I missed kind of the setup with Gorilla Grodd, but there's some time travel thing, and then they go back, and it's done by a Japanese company, and like they just really like. They know Batman. It seems like they really know. They understood how to make a Batman movie in Japan, really, because it's like as much of a Batman movie it is. They also fucking, of course, nailed the Japanese aspect of it too. Like there's just so much to it. Like it's really kind of the dream movie, and like not going to spoil too much, but like there's a ninja clan in it, and like
Don't spoil anything.
the rest of like the gang, like you'll see. Anyway, it's really good, and the thing is, it's not super duper deep, but there is like there's enough of a character arc for you to get into as well, and it's character arc stuff that you've seen before in Batman films and shit, but I very much appreciated that it was in there. And fucking A, man, 2 thumbs up for me. I would say 5 out of 5 indeeds.
Whoa.
Definitely.
We'll see about that.
Perfect score.
Whoa.
Perfect score.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. It looks great.
Yeah. I will see it again, this time in English sub, Japanese dub.
That's like a song lyric.
Because I saw it in English voices this time around.
Was it good voice acting?
It wasn't perfect, but it was
Batman
good.
sound good?
It was good enough. Yeah, it wasn't Conroy, I think, but it was. And also, actually, the sound in the arena at WonderCon wasn't like great, but I got like 90% of it. But I think there was a good 10% I did not even understand what they were saying. But it was good enough. It could, maybe it could have been a little better, but I don't know. You'll see. I have the top movies of this past weekend, top TV recently, and what else do I got? Top video games that have come out, and top comics as well. So running through that real quick, we'll start off with the movies. Top of the box office, Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yes.
28 million. And then Black Panther, number 2, 16 million. Black Panther, it's in its 6th week now. It was number 1 for 5 weeks. And it is the second top grossing movie at Marvel, only bested by Avengers 1. So fucking A, dude. And then number 3 was I Can Only Imagine. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Who cares?
And I think that might be a Christian movie, actually. And then Sherlock Gnomes was 4. And Tomb Raider fell to 5. It was number 2 last weekend. God, Sherlock Gnomes beat Tomb Raider? Fuck.
I didn't realize Tomb Raider got that high.
It was number 2 in America and then number 1 worldwide last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's that. So there's that. If nobody has anything to say about that, I can move on to TV. So broadcast TV. This is all the time. This is so weird because like I don't know anybody that watches like most of this shit, but I guess it's like popular with an older crowd. So Prime Broadcast Network, number 1 is NCIS on CBS. Number 2 is The Voice.
Shit, I'm missing.
On NBC. Number 3 is This Is Us on NBC. Number 4 is The Voice on Tuesday, I guess. It's on twice a week.
Ugh.
And what's 5? The Bull? I don't even know what that is. It's on CBS. Bull something?
Sure. I'm out of touch.
Yeah, me too. I think it's you get really into your own niche genres.
Yeah.
So moving into cable TV, number 1, Walking Dead. Walking Dead beats football sometimes, guys. Like Walking Dead is still huge.
Really?
And then number 2 is NCAA basketball. Number 3, Rachel Maddow. I can't believe, like she seems okay, but I just can't believe she's this high.
I mean, I think it says that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Under, like your number 1 is a zombie show. Your number 2 is sports. And then 3 is someone who's giving you good information about what the fuck's going on in the world.
Yeah, and somebody that's in this like Trump world that we're living in now is what it's seeming like anyway. It's good to see that happening. Number 4, basketball again. And then number 5, Hannity. So there's the Trump. Yeah, Fox News Channel. Hannity's 5 and 6. I guess he has 2 different slots. And then after that, actually tied for 6 is Rachel Maddow again.
Yeah.
So Hannity and Maddow are going up against each other.
Yeah, but she's got the 3rd spot, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, she's definitely.
She
I prefer her politics over fucking Hannity though, man. Shit.
Yeah, right.
They're both annoying.
Games number 1, Monster Hunter World.
I can see that.
February 2018.
I wanna play
Game
that.
listing is not week by week. It seems like it's by
That game
month.
looks awesome.
This is the thing. Monster Hunter is huge in Japan, and when you come over here, and like it's weird, like think of maybe Halo's an old reference at this point, but like Halo is not big at all in Japan, and then it switched over here. Halo was huge, or was anyway, and then Monster Hunter is nobody. I mean, I think Monster Hunter is gaining ground in America, but it's still got a ways to go. Number
I was
two.
watching sorry, hold on, Monster.
ahead.
I was watching a video the other day about Monster Hunter and how they've like since the cult the cult fascination with the game has like built upon a bunch of stuff, and then the new game kind of makes it more accessible. And it looks like amazing. Their whole thing is like the process of getting to where you need to be is the fun part, as opposed to like the stages where you're going. Anyway, it looks amazing.
I want to tell a funny. Well, it's not funny, but the story. I got a 3DS, and I was like, I want to try this Monster Hunter game out.
Nice, bro.
I like monsters, so I started playing it. I like design my character, get through it. And then we get to these brontosaurus-looking characters. And this thing, I don't remember what it was, is like, hey, to try this out, you got to go kill that thing over one of those beasts, one of those monsters over there. And then it says something about them being vegetarian and blah, blah, blah. They're not hurting anyone. And then I went, why the fuck am I going to go over there and kill that thing for? I want to kill monsters that are hurting people. And so then I turned the game off. But I do want to play Monster Hunter World.
Wow. All right.
I was just like, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to, like, I think it's like the throwback to Shadow of Colossus. Cause when I first started killing stuff, I was like, this is cool. This is cool. I climbed up on top of this creature and killed it. And then by the third Colossus, you're like, why am I doing this? What have they done to me? And I think that just after that game, if I'm just mindlessly killing a creature or something in it, I just think about it. I go,
that's interesting. Yeah, you got to develop the world and the motive for your character.
Yeah, and I was like, and it didn't seem like I had a choice. Like I had to do that to progress the game. And I was like, that's kind of dumb. You know, like I don't want to just kill this, but I don't know. That's maybe something I have to get.
Before we move on,
I think that's probably.
Before we move on, another game that's really huge in Japan and sort of gaming ground here is Dragon Quest. That series, Dragon Quest is more popular than Final Fantasy in Japan, and every time there's a new one, it's like a huge event. And there's all kinds of like theories as to why this series is not that big in America. And one thing I read online, I can't remember the article, or maybe it was Kotaku, I can't remember, but they were saying that there's like a lot of games where you go for hours without battling in Dragon Quest because it's more about the world building and going and just talking to people and shit. Like it takes a while to get to the actual fighting, but you're supposed to just kind of take in the world for a while. And that seems to be like kind of a cultural difference with the gaming, and also like it seems to kind of pay off story wise in the end as well. So I always thought that was interesting. I do want to play some Dragon Quests in the future, but I just haven't. I played a little bit of one, but I don't know. It was interesting, but I got busy. I don't know. Anyway, moving to number 2, back to the American taste, Call of Duty World War II. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those either, but whatever.
Move on. Number 3,
NBA 2K18.
Oh, what's 4?
I like
Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Fighters.
Nice.
Yeah, that one seems good. I'll probably get that one eventually, but I just don't want to pay full price for it. I mean, it seems like it's a cool fighting game, but I don't know. It's not Injustice. So
I'm waiting for that Monster Hunter World price drop.
NHL 2K18 is a pretty fun game if you have any inkling.
I like NHL. That's the only sports game I'll play.
I like hockey movies, so I like hockey games.
EA Sports, I just kind of get.
I don't actually like Monopoly, unfortunately.
All right, yeah.
I mean, I like it, but I don't. The names. There's so many names in sports. That's my biggest problem. I have like who's a free agent? That guy? They're like, and they're all wearing the same clothes. Like
it's a whole other nerdery, right? It's a whole other type of world.
Clones and droids. That's sports to me. Clones and droids.
For me, even though I do watch the Super Bowl because of the events, like things like football and baseball in particular, it's just like, how many fucking rules we got? Why are we stopping now? What I mean, we got like
all you hear is a whistle.
Yeah, it's like we're stopping again, and mainly in football, I guess. But it's and it's like they're just making up words. It's like, dude, I'm just not into this. And then with hockey, I think the reason I resonate with that is I never played it, but I think it's the skating, the smooth motion of it. I like that. I like something about that. And then number 2, you can fight. You can that's the thing. There's less rules in it because you can punch a dude and still get away with it. Like the less amount of rules, the better, I think. So
they all have no teeth. Yeah, sports is stupid. It encourages a hive mind. It disencourages individuality and intellectualism. And
that's true. That's true. That's true.
The world we live in is too much of this hive mind bullshit, and everybody's just going, well, if he said it, then I guess that's right. Anyway.
And sports are only like 150 years old too, so there's that.
Yeah, it's
a very new thing. So people didn't have enough time to play a fucking game back in the day. I was working on the farm. All right, so number 5 is Grand Theft Auto 5. Like,
really?
Wow. Yeah. I just
that online, man. People fucking love that shit.
It's true.
It's fucking nuts, right?
It's booming. It is booming. I got out of it because I was too sensitive. I'm too sensitive a person to play Grand Theft Auto online.
I like the critique of sports. That was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
See, we're all still friends even after that Pacific Rim bloodbath, guys. It can happen.
We won't always agree on things, but that's what pushes us forward as a team.
That's humanity. As a team.
Stop bringing us around back to sports.
Superhouse Podcast is the best X-Men movie that you've not watched.
I like teams when it's an X-Men. Yes, you're right about that. All right. I'm done with games for now. I just want to do top 5 because you could go to the top 20 of all these lists, but let's just do top 5. So comics, this one's interesting. Comics also, they only do it by month. It seems like it takes a while for them to get it. So this is seems to be a mix of the end of January and then February. So and this is what's interesting. DC kills it. DC sells a shitload of comics, man. Oh, wow. So Dark Knight's Metal, issue number 5, number 1. Not by a long shot, but by a small margin, because number 2 is Doomsday Clock, issue number 3. They were both in the 165,000 estimated units. And then Batman, number 3, issue 38. And then number 4, Dark Knights, Rising the Wild Hunt. I don't know what that is, but I don't keep track with all this stuff. And then 5, finally a Marvel book, X-Men Red, issue number 1.
Wow.
And then Batman is 6, 7, and 8.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, Batman smells like a motherfucker, dude. And then Avengers and Walking Dead, 9 and 10. So that's I know I just said I just do top 5, but I went through Batman real quick. So anyway, that's it. Top 10 comics. So that's it. That's the first top of the charts segment. We'll we'll see how this goes, but
I like those.
I like watching the box office numbers and what's selling and what's the fucking zeitgeist and shit. What are people into? That's what pop culture is. It's popular. So
popular.
So I like to gauge.
It's where literal and logical becomes lovable.
Yes. I just I don't know. I like to gauge where the country and world are via these numbers and stuff. You know what I mean? Even if it's something I don't really like.
Deviate away from it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So that's it, guys.
Holy shit, everybody. That was episode 119, and we fucking did our best not to murder each other or bore you to death. Hopefully, neither of those things will ever happen. We're fucking the strongest fucking podcast team there possibly ever was. I believe that over the much more successful podcasts that are tracking higher numbers, but people just don't know yet. And that's where we're at now.
I like to apologize if I got a little too heated.
Good.
But I think I just got, I don't know, I got kind of too into the conversation. But yeah, sorry if it was a little bit too much, but I'm glad we're still friends, or at least I think we are.
We all just need to go and play our favorite violent video game for just a minute.
Yes.
I'm just going to picture Andrew every time I kill anyone.
Oh, wow. All right.
The thing that people don't realize about violent video games is actually it's the solution to violent behavior, because you can act it out there in a safe place where you can be creative with how you're violent. Anyway,
Just don't go driving after playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah, don't do that unless you're a self-driving car, because you could always use the unpredictability. But anyway,
Oh, man, I want one of those. Anyway, all right. Thanks, Shasta.
that was episode 119. We went kind of off the rails, but fucking who gives a fuck, man? It's 2018, and we're doing whatever the hell we want. We want to thank Shasta for once again contributing to our Patreon account as much as she has. She's amazing, and please donate to us if you enjoy our ramblings. If this is the schizophrenic voices that are running in your head, then you're in good company. That's Stefan signing out. How about you guys?
Andrew signing off.
This is Maddie. Bye-bye.
This is Stefan from the Superhouse Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Patreon, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and any other godforsaken social media outlet that we should be floating on.
We are basically on all social media.
Yeah, all social media.
Mainly Facebook and Twitter and Patreon.
Check out the links in the description.
We have a lot of cool goals set up on our Patreon. Like if you donate $1, you'll be able to give us a topic for us to talk about. And we'll talk about for maybe an hour or more. Who knows how long it'll take.
And that's pretty tight.
That's the coolest thing.
Wait, we're on the internet?
That's pretty good. If you
And we can make money.
What?
If you donate $1,000, you get full frontal nudes.
We haven't set that up, but it's a possibility. If you give us $1,000, who knows what'll happen.
Check us out.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
You get to go on a date with one of us for $10,000.
But you pay for everything.
You get to have your way with Maddie for $20,000.
For $1 million, I'll give you Joey for a weekend.
For $30,000, we'll help you hide a body. Check out our Patreon.
Superhouse Gigolo Project 2017.
Links in the description.
2018.
Links in the description.